Today in the United States, nearly 2/3 of the population is overweight. Almost 1 in 3 Americans is obese. And no one wants to be. Americans want to be thinner, and yet old and young Americans are getting fatter and fatter and fatter. We all think it's our own fault. It is not that simple. The food industry is also at fault.
We're besieged. Wherever we go, we're encouraged to eat junk food.
And the government is at fault.
We have government policies that promote overeating from the beginning to the end of the food chain.
Tonight, we will tell you how the government and the food industry have helped to make America fat. Today, American farmers produce for domestic consumption vastly more food than America needs, nearly twice as much. And the more food we grow, the more we eat. Abundance has become the enemy. To begin with, agriculture works in America through farm subsidies. During the Depression in the 1930s, government began subsidizing farmers to save them from financial ruin. The money never stopped. This year, government will put roughly $20 billion into agriculture, most of it directly to the farmers. The most heavily subsidized crop in America is corn. Farmers plant nearly 80 million acres of corn, and in the last 5 years, they got an average of $5.5 billion in federal subsidies every year.
The vast majority of corn is feed corn. It's fed to chickens, hogs, and especially cattle. That corn helps these animals grow faster, fatter, and holds down the costs of meat. That encourages Americans to eat more meat.
Subsidized corn is everywhere. The whole food system has been, as someone said, cornified. Corn is processed and put into thousands of products that Americans use every day. If you want to see more directly how farm subsidies can lead to obesity, there is no better place than your local theater. The popcorn you eat here is made with subsidized corn.
One large popcorn? Sure, no problem.
The popcorn is so inexpensive that the bag it comes in costs more than the popcorn. That's why you can buy the mega size for just a few pennies more. The oil they cook it in is subsidized too, and so is the oil they put on top. That is not usually butter, but subsidized vegetable oil. As for fruits and vegetables, if Americans were to follow a healthy diet, the Department of Agriculture says that nearly twice the number of acres of fruits and vegetables would have to be planted. Why do you think fruits and vegetables do get so little support from the federal government?
Oh, I guess you could say our lobbyists aren't as good. Maybe we haven't had the tradition.
Do you mean that? Other aspects, other divisions of the food industry are better lobbyists than you?
We've not had traditional subsidy programs, so there's not an ingrained group in Congress that's there fighting for the program, fighting for the fruit and vegetable program.
We're talking about huge agribusiness companies that own thousands, hundreds of thousands of acres. And these are, of course, the people who give the largest campaign contributions to members of Congress.
Clearly, when you look at the consequences of the public health crisis we have today, government has got to step in. It's no different than tobacco was 20 or 30 years ago. We told people don't smoke. But until we really started to get serious about it and make changes, look at the escalation of health care costs associated with tobacco smoking. The exact same thing is happening now in terms of food choices.
Americans spend billions of dollars every year on diets and exercise.
Reach and pull good.
There are thousands of exercise videos, machines, gadgets, gimmicks, all designed to help us lose the weight we put on by eating too much.
How about butt squeeze?
Oh.
And for the food industry, exercise is a convenient answer to obesity.
I think people do need to exercise more, and not just exercise, because when you think of exercise, it often seems like it's more than you can fit into your very busy day. But you can take small steps.
Obesity is not going to be solved through sheer physical activity. The food industry would like to blame everything on lack of exercise. Eat as much as you want, exercise it off. Go out and buy a bike or play basketball with your kid. We should do that. But that's only part of the battle.
And here is why. You have to jog for 15 minutes to burn just 1 ounce of potato chips. You have to bike for an hour to burn the calories in this soda. And this supersized meal at McDonald's has so many calories, you have to walk for 6 hours to burn it off.
We would not support a move to eat less because that's not going to solve the problem. Simply suggesting to people that you eat less food really is, I think, it's not the approach to take.
Kraft's approach is different. The company has proposed a wholesale review of all their products and their marketing because they know obesity is an epidemic.
What we'll do is go category by category, product by product, to look for small but meaningful opportunities to improve the nutrition.
What's the definition of meaningful?
Let's say I have a reduced fat product that takes out 5 grams versus the original, and 10 people choose that product. So on a population-wide basis, we've saved 50 grams of fat. But if I take the regular version of that product and I remove 1 gram of fat, and I do it in a way that doesn't affect the taste, and now 90 people choose that product, on a population-wide basis, I've saved 90 grams of fat.
Eat less means that we're not going to buy as much product. It goes all the way down the chain. The supermarkets, the restaurants, the food manufacturers, agriculture, we're not going to need as much product. And that's going to be a very difficult lesson to get through.